Coming up on the program, we're going to plant some no-dig potatoes for fall harvest.
If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Barrett. Well, we recently harvested our garlic and we've got a vacancy in our garden, and we always want to find something to put in that location. So we planned ahead a couple of months ago when we planted our spring potatoes. You see some in the Rootmaker grow bag right there and some over my shoulder in the pallet raised bed. We saved some because we knew that we were going to have some space whenever the garlic came out. So what we're going to do, and we've done this before with great success, it's called a no-dig potato planting method. So we've got the soil prepped here, and what I did, if we had extra compost, I would have laid an inch of compost down, but we don't have any compost at this moment. So after we harvested the garlic, I raked off the weeds. This is going to be a very weedy spot. That's just the way the reality of it is in our ground garden here. Then I took the garden fork and I just lifted the soil, just flipped it, let it fall through the tines, and that's the preparedness that the soil needs to be. So what we have here is we've got some Yukon Gems seed potatoes from Woodprey Farms, our seed supplier from Bridgewater, Maine. Now, most likely at this point of the year they have sold out, but certainly a place that you would want to look at for next year's potato crop or seed potatoes. They have phenomenal variety, and we've never had anything but good luck with them. And it's a family-owned company, family-owned farm that's been around for about 43 years, something of that number. So how is this going to work? So we have to have a medium to grow in, which the soil is going to be that area. And then we need something to cover it with, and that's what this straw is going to come into play with. Now, if you don't have straw available, what you can use is yard debris, chemical seed-free dry grass clippings, and just mound it up. Because all we're doing is preventing the potatoes to be exposed to sunlight, which turns them green. Potatoes do not grow, and everywhere the stem touches soil, a potato does not emerge. That's not how potatoes work. This potato will set here, will cover it, it'll get water, it'll get nutrients from the soil, it'll start a top growth, such as these over here, and it will shoot out tubers, and those tubers will form about where my hand's at. No more, no higher, no deeper. And then at the time of harvest, in about 90 days, we'll simply rake back the straw and pick the potatoes off of the soil. It's really that easy, it really is. So first we need to put a little fertilizer down. You can use any type of granular fertilizer, follow the recommended rates. I know how much my hand is and how much is required per area. Each manufacturer has a different requirement, and don't over fertilize, especially potatoes, because what will occur, and this is prevalent on all vegetables, you'll get a massive green plant and very little fruit or vegetable production, so keep that in mind. Okay, now that that is done, how do we space these potatoes? The potatoes next to me are on about 1 foot centers. These are going to be somewhere in that same range. They don't have to be perfect. We can kind of put them any way we want. A couple of things about your seed potatoes. You want your seed potato to be no smaller than a medium-sized chicken egg, and that's where we're at here, so I'm not going to cut it. If this was, let's say, a baseball size, then I could cut it down the center and I could have 2 seed potatoes. Whether you plant this as a whole or if it was larger and you divide it, you're still going to get this, you're going to get more potatoes, or you're going to get the same amount of potatoes, you're just going to extend your seed stock. You'll have 2 plants instead of 2 plants coming up here. So these are the right size, we don't have to cut them. And I'm just going to kind of space them in here. And then I also have some in the box here that was saved. These were harvested last year at this time, and they've been kept in the cupboard or in the storage. You can see this here, probably not going to grow because all the energy has been used out of the tuber, but I'm just going to throw that randomly in there. This here you can kind of get a little more freestyle. They don't have to be all precise and in the right measurement. You don't necessarily need to nestle them in the ground either. And I'll get these planted and we'll come back and get the straw placed on top of them. So we've planted, or I've got the potatoes seeded where I want them at. As you can see, we've got a lot of potatoes. We had a lot more seed potatoes left than what I was realizing. So we did plant them. We might as well use them up. As you can see, we got them kind of setting all real close together. They're going to do a lot better in the ground here than whittling up and shriveling up in the box, because we won't get them planted. So we're going to put them in the ground. And from our experience, because they're growing above ground, not necessarily in the soil, the denseness of the soil can reduce the size of the tuber. We will have some reduction in size. We will have plants come up on all of these. So at the very least, we'll have a bunch of baby potatoes. So, all right, so how we'll do the bale here. Cut strings here. Now this bale has been setting out for about 2 months now, so it's been weathered. Not that that's important, but you can see there's a lot of moisture in it, but it's going to be that way whether it was a fresh bale and we put water on it or not. So all I'm going to do is take the different leaves of the bale, and see how this is how this fell. It's a very dense piece. I don't want that. I want to make sure that I have fluffed every bit of it so there's no smothering of the potato itself. So it's going to take a little bit, but it's going to definitely benefit the potatoes. Now, true enough, when it rains, it's going to compact a little bit, but it's not going to be this smashed, completely dense area on the bale. Again, if you didn't have a bale, you can certainly use dry grass clippings and just mound them up. We're going to go about 18 inches, 12, 18 inches high. We're going to see how much the bale will use. And if we don't use it all, the bale will sit there. And as this breaks down, we'll continue to pile more on. So I'll get this all sifted out and then we'll finish it up. Okay, so that'll just about do it. That's almost half the bale. Again, we've got a good foundation built here. That's a little light on that end. I'll add a little bit more. But that's how easy it is to get another crop of potatoes. Now, if you're unable to get them from Wood Prairie Farms, you can go to your organic grocery store and pick out some potatoes and plant them that way. The only advice that I would offer you in that situation is know the variety, so you know if they're going to take 60 or 90 or 110 or 135 days to reach maturity. And based on when your first average frost date is, you want to make sure you're well in front of that, so these potatoes can mature and you can get a harvest on them. These are mid-season, so about 90 days, give or take a little bit, and they'll be ready to harvest. So thanks for watching. Join me again next time. This has been the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. As always, remember to rate, subscribe, and comment.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.